We're on the game of tongues and where we deal with speech anxiety in all its forms. In this session, we are delighted to have with us Prathusha, who is from in the vicinity of Mumbai in India. She came to us um, in approximately let's see, January of 2017, and we began working together on her speech, and she was one of the fastest self cures, if not the fastest, we've ever had. In this instance, in this particular session, we're going to ask Prathusha if she would just share with us her story, her journey, if you will, in dealing with speech anxiety. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to her. I may once in a while ask you a question or something. If I need to, I'll hold up my hand and ask a question. But otherwise, it's Prathusha's mic. So let us proceed. Thanks, Prathusha.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lee, for this wonderful opportunity. This is really a great platform wherein I can actually put forth my whole story, and I thank you so much for that. Okay, let's start. Fine. So I'm Prathusha, and I'm able to say my name now, which is wholly because of Lee Lovell. Because initially, like some 2 to 3 years back, I was not able to say my name. I would stutter very badly. I had problems in spelling P and T and S words, but now I'm able to say every word with utmost fluency, and I'm able to nail it of course, it's because of Lee Lovett, and thank you so much for that, Lee. And when I started this training as in when I met Lee on Facebook, he immediately accepted my request, and that was really amazing because I didn't expect him to reply to my emails or respond to me on Facebook, but he did, and that changed my entire approach to speech. And he taught me so many things, like all those 12 crutches are really, really working, and it actually self cures. Those who stutter, I'm saying this, those 12 crutches are really amazing, and it helped me a lot, especially when I have this problem of pronouncing words. The most helpful crutch for me was the first crutch, skipping the first syllable of the first word. If I'm not able to say my name Prathusha, I would say Rathusha. So that's how it all began, and it worked amazing. And recently, I did host a program at my office, and it was a grand success. There were people from Canada, and there were clients from all over the world, and I was able to nail that speech. And one of my favorite crutches is this voice modulation, wherein you almost sing when you speak, and it really makes you very cool, and you'll be very fluent, and it attracts people when you talk in such intonation and such voice modulation, whatever. It actually makes people to look at you, see how she's speaking, that's very pretty, sweet, cute, and all those lovely things come to your ears, and that actually boosts your self confidence, and where you actually exhibit the way you speak is flawless. So that's what the success of this entire GOT, game of tongues, whatever you call it. But really, this is a great success. And even now, at times I stumble. But the thing is, as Lee said, stuttering is not with your mouth. The problem is not in your mouth. The problem is in the way you think. So the part which is crippled is not the way you speak. The crippled part is in your mind. So it is Lee actually emphasizes on revamping your stuttering thoughts with positive thoughts, and all this positivity together, it will definitely defeat this satin stuttering. And and like Lee said, if you can say one word anywhere, anytime, you can say any word anywhere, anytime, and that is the important sloka, and that is true. It's the fact. And I also use this auto suggestions given by Lee because initially I was like, what what will happen if I'm saying I love to speak, but you know what? It really works. When you say this 100 times, your subconscious just refreshes with positivity, and it just overflows with all positive vibes. So the way you think totally changes, and the approach to the way you speak totally changes. So see, I'm able to speak this much fluent, and it's all because of Lee. I thank you so much, Lee, for that. And this auto suggestion, like I said, whenever I stutter or whenever I stumble on any word, I would say I love to speak, and people are going to love the way I speak. So this is what I keep on saying, and I also do this self hypnosis twice a day. Once when I wake up, 20 minutes I do self hypnosis, and one time when I go to my bed, I just do this self hypnosis, and it really works. And I would also like to mention about this SAA, which is really amazing. And anyone who is this benevolent and altruistic, I should really thank Lee because he's very selfless. You know, he just wants to reach out to people and help people, which is really amazing in this world. And I my appeal to all those stutterers is that just make use of this platform. If you're really, really intelligent, you should make use of this platform to bring the originality from you, and you can really be very fluent in rhetoric with all these 12 crutches. And if you're going to use it, you're going to be the winner. If you're not going to use it, then it all depends on the way you use it and the benefit that you gain out of this. So please make use of all whatever Lee says, because whatever Lee says is absolutely truth, and that is the fact. And I thank you so much, Lee, for this great opportunity.
Stop thanking me. You're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing me. You read my book and you loved the book too. Before you ever met me
Yeah,
or
yeah,
anything, you loved the book.
that was amazing.
The book helped you. You made some progress with just the book, and that
Yeah,
was really good too. Um, but you're such a good student. You worked at it so hard, and you read aloud a great deal. And of course, now
yeah,
I always say that it takes two things to self cure. One is to hear fluency, which you do now all day, every day. You no longer need to read aloud for the purpose of hearing fluency because you are fluent. And the second thing you have to do, of course, is not be disfluent, and that takes daily discipline. Now, let me ask you a question. Are you finding that you need the crutches less and less?
yes. I'm finding the usage of crutches is really becoming very less for me. I just used once. It was when you taught me those crutches. I used like every single day. I used to use all those crutches, but now it's like once a month, once in 2 months. So it's like that. So it has reduced.
Okay, that's very encouraging. Um, how much do you feel at this point you think about your speech in the average hour during the day?
Well, before I used to think like hearts together, and this itself will depress me so much. But these days, I'm not even thinking of what I'm gonna say. I'm not preforming the words. Before, I used to preform each and every word, and I would definitely stutter on that word. But these days, I'm not preforming anything. I'm just going with my blank mind. So I'm not thinking of
See,
the way I know.
Prathusha has reached the ultimate part. of the self-cure. That is, she's thinking ideas, not words, and she's thinking emotions and how she can convey her words with feeling, and she's doing that. She mentioned earlier that she was recently asked at work. She's involved in the banking industry in one way or another with a software company that works with banking, and she was asked to give be the the master of ceremonies or something at a rather large occasion, and she sent us pictures of herself on the stage with the mic, and that we were all so thrilled to see her up there. You know, she's only 20 years old or 21 or whatever. She's a very, very young girl. And her first language is Tamil, incidentally. English is second. So she speaks beautifully. Tamil is a form of Hindu, I believe, Hindi, somehow related to it, um, or Urdu. Anyway, so I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go right ahead. What else would you like to share with us?
Um, I just want people to make use of this platform because there are so many people who are affected by this stuttering. It's just the way we think. Yeah, one fear, one initial fear will transform this into this stuttering thing, and if you're able to uh, eliminate that fear in the origin, only then you'll be able to come out of it. So these 12 crutches helps us to do that. And if you're going to practice this, this is really going to uh, you're going to gain from all those 12 crutches. That's what I was about to say. And please you make use of this 12 crutches, and please do auto suggestions, and please do read aloud daily, because nothing comes to your plate without trying. Never accept failure without trying. So just try, practice each and every single day. Each and every time you open your mouth, just make use of this crutch, because talking is something which we do every single day. So every minute you talk, so you can practice it. You need not allocate time for this. Okay, I'm gonna practice today morning. No, it's not that. Whenever you talk, just practice it. Practice makes a man perfect, and that's exactly what this 12 crutches does if you do practice. So please practice these 12 crutches and be rhetoric conversant and be very fluent. And this stuttering actually helped me in learning new words like synonyms. When I had to substitute some word, I learned so many new words. So this helped me in building my English vocabulary skills, and
Let
it
me
really
interject on
helped
that.
me.
Prathusha, let me interject one thought there. The first thing that I did when I started to stutter badly, I was a teenager, and I realized that the more words I knew, the more synonyms, similar words that I knew, the better chance I would have of avoiding stuttering. So before I did anything else, I started studying vocabulary books, and I basically bought everything I could find. And really, there wasn't that much out there. Most of those books have 300 to 500 words, and I learned them. And then I think I found one book that had 1,000, and that wasn't enough for me either. And so I began to, through my reading, I went on a sort of a life crusade. I love words. I consider myself an etymologist, one who studies words. And everything I've read a book a week most of my life, and I've recorded all the words I didn't know, and I made my own word list. And when I first started working with Prathusha and other readers of my book, she was a reader of my book, and in my book I put my email address, and I said I would love to hear from you if you want to chat with me. And that's how this whole thing got started. And Prathusha was one of the first ones to contact me, and we became friends, and we still are. And I call myself her grandfather because I have 8 granddaughters around her age, right near her age. And anyway, so it's the whole thing I lost my train of thought. Um, what was it? Oh, I missed my main thought. My my prologues are so long that they get me off on a tangent. What were you were just talking, what were you just saying at the time I interrupted you? What was your point?
Yeah, I was talking about this
Oh,
English
yes,
new
it's new
word
words.
vocabulary.
So the point is, I started sharing my word list, which has like 5,000 words from literature, from history, from finance, from philosophy, from all kinds of things. 5,000 entries, and I had some PWS said, "Can I have your list?" And I said, "Well, yeah, sure." So after a while, I published it, and I called it "Words You Need to Know" and "Facts You're Embarrassed Not to Know." And the facts were aimed at my grandchildren. Again, they didn't know things that I thought they should know, like why does a star shine? Why is America called America? And things like that. Uh, and so I had those things in there too. So it hatched another book, and I've shared that book with some people too. So what Prathusha is saying about words is very useful. Unfortunately, you can't learn enough words to beat stuttering. It'll help you, but it's not a solution by itself. It's the combination of things. We have what we call in Speech Anxiety Anonymous a three-legged stool, three legs to the stool. The first one is reading aloud, because when you read aloud, you hear fluency. If you can read aloud without stuttering. If you can't read aloud without stuttering, we ask you not to read aloud. And we come up with other ways of addressing that problem. But reading aloud is very important. Most people have stutter-free zones. They can talk without stuttering when they're alone, or when they're talking to animals, or when they're talking to children under the age of 5, or perhaps when they're talking to family, or not. Or some people can't talk to strangers with other people. Only to strangers can they talk without stuttering. So wherever your stutter-free zones are, we ask you to talk, 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 so that we want you to hear fluency. And the second thing we ask you to do, as Prathusha's explained, is use auto-suggestions or self-hypnosis to help train your mind. We explain that in my book, and I explain it on Skype. And the third thing is using crutches. And we make this analogy. If you had two legs broken at the knees, and you came to me, if I were an orthodontist, which I'm not, a bone doctor, and you said, "What can I do to help my legs heal?" And I would say, "Here's a wheelchair, here's a walker, here's some canes, here's some crutches, and there's a couch. We ask you to stay off your legs while they heal." And similarly, we ask you not to stutter, not to stammer, not to block. And of course, that's begging the question, and this involves, how do we achieve that? We do a couple of things. One is during our healing, our curing process, we ask you to talk less, and we ask you to keep your comments short. It's better to talk in like one sentence, complete your thought and stop, and then continue with another thought after you've gotten a chance to recover, and then have another sentence like that, and keep it short. And then, in addition to that, we ask you to use the 12 crutches, which Prathusha has been explaining in part. So that's the three-legged stool: reading aloud, mind training, and use of crutches. But Prathusha's very important point: once you master the crutches and you really know them like the back of your hand, like I throw you a tennis ball, you can catch it without telling your fingers what to do. And you must be able to use the crutches without thinking about what crutch you're using. And you don't, most crutches will work on most problems with speech, but you need to know them well. And Prathusha has mastered the crutches. And the irony of it is, when you really master the crutches, as Prathusha and I have, you don't really need them anymore. And that's the
Yeah.
beauty of it. So, having said that, that's a long interruption. I apologize for that. So, continue on, Prathusha, with your story.
So I was talking about this crutch, which is very interesting and very cute crutch, which is smile while you talk. So whenever you smile when you talk, or if you say like hi, hello, I'm Prathusha Ravi, when you smile, it actually gives a positive energy, and people, when they look at you, they will also smile, and you can get a positive attention or attraction from the crowd, which itself will build a confidence in you. So always smile while you talk. It actually gives a lot of positive vibrations around you. And there is yet another crutch. That's my favorite crutch, which is voice modulation. So whenever you do this voice modulation, it's actually, it's like you sing, and it will actually attract people around you, and people will seeing you. And I like that crutch very much, voice modulation. And there's uh, one more crutch, which is this magic crutch, whispering. Whispering is something which I do rarely, but not often. But I like doing that. Whenever I have this blogs or something, I just whisper, "What? What happened? What happened?" So it's like, just include your body language also. So whenever you move your hands, and try to talk funny, so when people will also smile, and it will also change the entire vibe. So whenever you are nervous, or whenever you are very anxious about your talk, do just add some humor in that by smiling or doing some hand gestures, or you can also dance if you want. I'll just dance like, okay, so what's up, dude? So it's like that. So just nod your head, have some hand gestures, and just have some voice modulation. Talking is really fun, it really, it's a drama. That's what Lee always says. So talking is actually a drama. So when the drama starts, you have to act according to that. So you have all these 12 crutches, and you can make use of all those 12 crutches in different combinations. It's really fun. You will like talking, and you will talk more when you really enjoy these 12 crutches and use them in your speech. So that's it, Lee.
That's excellent, excellent, excellent. You know, I have to observe, Prathusha is so incredibly animated when she speaks, and that's a
Yeah.
wonderful thing. She's using gesticulations and a lot of very positive facial expressions, smiling, and she's flashing her huge eyes at us, and she just gets so involved, like an actress, and she, as if she really is obvious she is having fun, and she's sharing their fun. It's She can't hide it, and it's her mind is full of joy and emotion and sharing feelings, and it has nothing to do with words. So big surprise. She's not thinking about stuttering. She's not thinking about saying the stuttering in fear. It's not there. Um, and she mentioned the word humor, and she that's really important. Um, talk and talking is yeah. So, okay, those few observations I wanted to make. Her humor, her animation, and her gesticulation. She is investing herself in her ideas, and she is sharing her ideas in a positive way. Her karma has gone from the reclusive, taciturn wallflower sitting in the corner avoiding speaking to the one they say, "Oh, give Prathusha the mic and let her introduce people." Wow, what a change! What a change! She's gone from the back row corner to the front of the stage. I mean, this is a big leap, and she's done this in a little over a year. And she actually self-cured in a matter of about maybe four or so Skypes. But she did that because, I mean, the way we grade a self-cure is she hadn't had a stuttering incident that was really a significant, noteworthy stuttering incident, one that would say she has a stutter, which is not to say she was anywhere near then where she is now, because she's continued to her fluency. She's been hearing fluency for months now and enjoying it more every day. So the level of her speech has gone from a problem with speech to a terrific speaker, and it's because she's just being herself, and that's all we have to be, and just let ourselves out and have fun with what we're saying. And that's what she's doing. She's making it fun, and it's changed her life. And her karma was even good at the beginning. It was just withdrawn. She was quiet, you know. Now she's out there. She's for everyone to see, and isn't that wonderful? So go ahead, Prathusha.
Yeah, one big thing that changed is that previously during my school days or during my college days, whenever I go in front of the dais to take any seminars or some classes, I would always be very nervous. Like I would always preform the sentences what I'm gonna say, and I would be like hello, hi. So that's how I say. But now I'm not even thinking. I'm not preparing anything for seminars, or I'm not preparing anything for my official meetings. I'm just going blank because I'm very confident of what I'm gonna say. So I have only the ideas in my mind. I don't frame any sentences, or I don't even uh, revise what I'm gonna say. So I just go there, and whatever comes to my mind, I just say. I just stop thinking, overthinking. So I just stop that. So it helps me a lot.
That's
And
wonderful.
I also got applause and accolades from my co-team workers for that splendid hosting in that program, and it really boosted my confidence much more. And I'm looking forward to uh, make any public appearances on stage and give any speech or something like that. So people has continuously nominated me for hosting programs, mistress of ceremony or master of ceremony, whatever it is. So I'm gonna do it, uh, and I'm gonna rock the stage.
That's fabulous. That really is. That really is. I mean, you've gone way past Toastmasters. That's in the U.S. They have a group called Toastmasters, and
Okay.
everyone gets together and practice speeches. But you're doing them in a commercial environment where with your company and in front of lots of people. It's a much more challenging situation that you're doing, and that's great. And I'm so glad you're doing it and enjoying it. Well, that's excellent, excellent, excellent. What else? Is there anything else that you want to share?
Yeah, okay. I just want to say the single thing. And this speech therapy or the speech approach, whatever you taught me, has helped me to make a very wise decision in my life, which is I'm going to do MBA in Christ University. And it's MBA is about talking and the way you carry yourself, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna make you proud, and I'm gonna make you proud every single day.
You already
That's
have.
how.
You already
Yeah.
have. I think you're. If I have four grandsons, and if they lived in India, I would be giving them your phone number. Anyway, Prathusha, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, and
Yeah.
it's just really so gratifying to me. I said when I wrote, my wife said, "Why are you writing that book? There are not enough stutterers in the world." And I said, "No, no, you don't understand. They're like 1% of the world, they say. Like 70 million people have stuttering problems. Plus, there's speech anxiety problems. Hundreds of millions of people don't want to talk in public, and some of them won't talk at cocktail parties or where there are more than three people present and so forth. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of people have speech issues, and so I want to." She said, "Well, no one's going to read your book probably." And I said, "Look, I said if one person reads my book and is cured, it's worth writing the book." And I can't tell you, you say you're gratified at my help and my book. I'm gratified for you and you are a shining example. You are an exemplar. You're the prototype, the archetype of what I will hope to achieve out of the book. And there are other people who've done extremely well, as you have, Josh Zello from Texas and Jason Ewing from Kentucky, and Johnson son, Zenhua Johnson's son from Beijing.
Yeah.
Uh, these guys conquered monster stutter problems, and others, Michael Ferris and others who are on Speech Anxiety Anonymous. But you were the first girl to do it, and you've done it, and you've embraced it, and you're helping others. And when I ask you to help other people, you've done it, and you do it. And I'm so grateful. And I know you got a life to live, and you can't make your. I'm a retired guy. I can spend my time doing this. You really can't. And so, but I really appreciate what you've done and what you're doing. And you're just such a wonderful example. And I love you like a grandfather, and I would hug you if I could get my hands on you. And
Yeah,
that's
sure.
the way I feel about it. And I would do anything for you anytime you you want me. You got me. So that's it. So that's my view of Prathusha. I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you're lucky, maybe someday she'll help you. Um, I hope so. And she's going to help some people, I'm sure of that.